So if you're applying for a job in a market, chances are you are getting those interviews if your resumes are working for you. So now when you get that first call from hiring managers, or most of the time it would be recruiters calling you to book you in for an interview. So these are the questions I'm going to tell you that you should ask before you go into the interview. So the questions that you're asking would be something that you are going to get the information out of them. So one of the questions that I would recommend you to ask whenever you're invited for in-person interviews and someone's calling you to book you in for an appointment would be, what kind of interview would that be? Would that be based on the case studies? Or would that be based on presentation? Would there be any test that I have to do? Or anything that I have to write? Or would that be a writing test? Is there any test involved? Is there any case studies that you have to do? Or is it going to be just a normal interview, sit down interviews? What that does is that would prep you to research the case studies model or the test. You can also ask, what kind of test would that be? Is it going to be on a computer? Is it going to be on a paper? Or is it going to be in person? Someone's going to ask you and you have to go and provide those answers. So you're well prepared in advance. Now, there are a lot of companies, they do the interview differently. So it doesn't hurt for you to ask those questions. So you're prepping way in advance. So the second questions that you want to ask would be, if it's going to be panel interview. I would even ask you to go far as who is going to be there. What's the name of the hiring manager? The reason that you're asking those questions is you can go look them up in LinkedIn to see what are they like. You would get a lot of information from their profile. What are they like? What are their areas of interest? Are they subject matter expert? How long have they been with the same company? So there are so many things you can figure it out. And also you can always connect with them in advance if you feel comfortable with it. The other questions that you want to ask to the person, whoever you're speaking on the phone, would be, is that the last interview? Or what are the next stage? What happens after that interview? And how long is the interview as well? If the interview ends up quite quickly, if they've told you the interview would be from 1 hour to 2 hours or 45 minutes to 1 hour, and the interview wraps up quickly, then that probably is a red flag for you. Sometimes that happens. So the information is for you. If you have interviews scheduled already, then you want to go around and drive around that area to see the time, drive around the area to ensure that you know how to get there. If you're taking a bus, make sure you know the transit and the route and how long it takes. Make sure you have that extra time beforehand so you're not late for interview. Last thing you want to do is huffing and puffing during interviews, and you want to avoid that. So know the route, know the transit system, and you know how to get there. Before you go in interview, know about the company, mission and values and everything, and also go and research on Indeed and Glassdoor, everywhere, to understand what's the environment, know your worth, research the value, and how you can get it would be from the reviews online, and go and check out the salaries and range. So those are the key areas that you want to focus on before you go on interview, making sure that you are well aware of the stages of interview, the timeline of interviews, what kind of test it's involved, and all those surrounding things, that you're not panicking on the spot. Know the information in advance. Some companies might not disclose you, but you know what? You've tried, right? The answer is always no if you do not ask. So be prepared, be aware, of the situations that you have control over it. And if you need any help with the interview coaching, we also teach you live interview coaching. Visit teachanddo.com for our services.